Hello, friends. This is Professor Guglov. Today's video will be a little unusual, but I'm sure you will like it. So, get comfortable and let's go. A dangerous sword. Every year, thousands of people want to try their luck on a British talent show. Every contestant is incredibly talented, it's hard to deny. But one guy has truly won the hearts of the audience. Young illusionist James Moore, who reached the semi-finals of the show, won the hearts of the audience not only with his pleasant smile, but also with his amazing tricks. As soon as he appeared on the stage, he showed a couple of tricks and then pulled out a long sword. Everyone held their breath. Two masked assistants lifted the magician up and placed him directly on the sword. It seemed that James was literally lying on the tip of the sword. And after a couple of moments, the sword pierced the magician. The judges, the audience, the TV presenters, all freaked out but couldn't take their eyes off the stage. The assistants reappear on stage and help James up. He's safe and sound. He also got a unanimous yes from the judges. So how did he manage not to get hurt while performing such a risky stunt? Of course, it's not a real sword, but a fake one. As soon as the magician lies down on the tip of the sword, it folds up, creating a flat surface. In addition, the magician's costume is also full of secrets. There is actually a sturdy lining on the illusionist's back with a special pocket that attaches to the sword. Everything else depends only on the physical skill of the magician. He must keep his balance and keep his whole body tense so that the audience thinks he is really lying down. When the blade pierces James, the sword actually folds inward and the magician pulls a duplicate tip from a secret pocket in one swift motion. After that, he also needs to keep his balance. In front of thousands of people, that's not easy. And while the trick doesn't seem very difficult, we still strongly advise against attempting it at home. Remember, James Moore is a professional who spent more than one day rehearsing his show. Card tricks. And this is another talent show, this time in the USA. One of the contestants surprised the audience with a series of incredible card tricks. Eric Jones slowly walked up to the judges and asked one of them to sign a card. He then took out a gavel and struck his hand. The signed card disappeared like magic. This amazed the judges. Eric then risked his reputation and smashed the red judges button with the hammer to get the previously disappeared signed card out of there. Keep a close eye on the hammer. And, the map is gone. How is that possible? That's my map. The trick seems unrealistic and it is hard for the average person to understand how Jones did it. For starters, you should know that the entertainer's clothing plays an important role in card tricks. As soon as the TV host signs the card, the magician folds it in front of the cameras and hides the piece of paper in a secret pocket, striking his hand with a hammer. Except it happens so fast that no one notices it. Jones then smashes the red button to get the card, but it's actually a duplicate folded the same way. In a quick move, the magician changes the cards in his pocket and gives the judge the card he signed earlier. Disappearance in a box. It seems that the best way for a magician to succeed is through a TV show. A couple of years ago, a team of magicians shocked the audience with an incredible performance during the casting of an Israeli talent show. A little boy suddenly turned into an adult, and then he found himself locked in a box. We see that only his hands are sticking out of the box. Then the assistants start pushing the walls of the box until there are only a couple of centimeters left in the box. And then the man has just been on stage, and suddenly he's standing right behind the judges. Is this really magic? Well, no, these are very talented and inventive illusionists. Notice that we have two structures here, a box and a small ladder. Apparently, the ladder can fit an adult inside. The man, climbing into the box, immediately descends under the ladder. While the protagonist rushes to the judges, the man replacing him stays behind the box in a secret compartment and shows his hands. After which he simply climbs inside the false bottom of the box. Thanks to the thick walls of the box, the assistant is literally hiding in plain sight, but no one can see him. You have to be very flexible to remain unnoticed in such an uncomfortable position throughout the show. Magic board. It turns out that you can become an illusionist even at a young age. When the magician Issy Simpson was only 8 years old, she got to the casting of a talent show. The girl performed a fascinating show and amazed the adult audience. The magician walked up to the judges and pulled out 3 of her favorite books from a box she had brought with her. Stepping aside, little Hermione Granger asked one of the judges to pick up the box, but he was unable to move it even with the help of his colleague. "Go ahead, pull on you, and I'll pull on me." Turns out it wasn't just any box. It was store-bought specifically for Issy's trick. The box had a switch in it that allowed it to literally stick to any smooth surface so hard that it couldn't be lifted. The judges could probably tear the box off the table with more physical force. But there was no way to move it. The young magician then asked another judge to open a book and read aloud any word. After that, Issy went to the board, removed the cloth from it and unfolded it to the audience. Everyone was able to read exactly the word from the book that the judge had previously read. This seems unreal. Did the girl use telekinesis to write the word on the blackboard? In fact, this is not an ordinary blackboard either, but an electronic device that you can buy in stores. An ordinary school blackboard, on which you can write with chalk, is connected to another device on which the magician's assistant writes the word wirelessly, and then the word is displayed on the blackboard. All it takes is for the magician to stall a bit and give the assistant a few seconds. A similar trick was done by magician Dan White on The Jimmy Fallon Show. The Vanishing iPhone. Matt Franco from the USA decided to prank Melanie Brown, one of the talent show judges, and destroyed her phone right in front of her eyes. It started innocently enough. The judges chose cards from a deck and took pictures with them on Melanie's phone, but then the magician got so excited that he dropped the phone in a glass of water. You could see from Melanie's face that she wasn't thrilled. The guy tried to correct his mistake and dried the phone with a hairdryer by putting it in a black bag. But the bag started to smoke. And then the phone disappeared. Believe it or not, he disappeared. Heidi Klum then made a call on Melanie's phone. Everyone immediately cheered when they heard the classic ringtone of an iPhone ringing. Melanie, together with the magician, hurried to the Rose, where she found her phone right inside one of the chairs, which had to be cut with a knife. Oh, my God. But the most striking thing was that the phone's gallery contained the very same card photos taken a few minutes ago. So it's the same phone. It's going to be hard to figure out this magic trick, but we're going to try. First of all, Matt put the broken and wet iPhone in Melanie's empty glass from the start. He just put another phone underneath while he distracted the audience. Second, the black bag contained pieces of dry ice, which, when exposed to the hot air from the hairdryer, began to melt and create smoke. It's also worth saying that the bag was simply a piece of cloth folded in half. The phone didn't actually disappear into the bag, it was just in the magician's hands behind the fabric. Third, Matt apparently had an assistant who was calling the phone at the same time as Heidi Klum. The magician cut the seat open with a knife and suggested that the owner of the phone retrieve it herself. But look what's been inside all this time. We've all been fooled again. Melanie Brown was holding a fake iPhone. The magician simply sent her previously taken photos to it. Seems simple enough, but just imagine how much time and stamina it took Matt to work the trick so that everything went smoothly in front of so many people. Well, as I promised, the video was interesting. So, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.